this ain't my audition video. Damn it.
No, this is.
Do I need to stand up?
No.
Behind me. Is there? Got
All
me
right.
in here.
So what you got for your 2
All right.
pages?
So I think we start out. We see Majin. We're in ruins. It could be a cave. My thought is it's in a cave somewhere, kind of secluded. It's dark, heavy shadows. If you want some characterization, you can even have one kind of mutters to himself, which could be a little bit of exposition. But if he's the kind of guy that kind of talks to himself, that it can kind of work to help fill in a little bit of hints of what he's doing. Absolutely. I think that like he, we could have where he has some type of a odd compass that's leading him continually into this, and he's using the compass. It stops working. He casts a spell again. He mutters it in some weird language. Does some weird hand symbol. The compass lights up again, twists around and points. He goes further into the cave and then stops. Casts another spell like towards the ground, and then you can see maybe like this energy seeping out of the ground. And you can say something that was like, "This is it. I finally found it." Cast a spell again. The earth kind of splits apart. The little emerald shard floats up. It's kind of right there in front of him. It's letting off a bunch of light. So you're in a really dark cave that's now giving us some light. Reaches over on his wrist. Boop, boop, boop. Hologram pops up. Remington answers. And he tells Remington, "I've located it. I have it in hand. This is going to, open up possibilities. Or this is going to change the world," or something like that. Remington says something like, "Look, I want you to, fantastic work. I want you to know that, I truly appreciate everything you've done." While he's talking to him, just kind of giving him the things to which you kind of realize that Remington is actually genuinely telling him, like, "Look, I really appreciate what you've done, but I'm going to need that stone." Justice units come in and trap him into in the cave, and we see Majin turn, cast a couple spells. Maybe he throws a magic armor around himself and rushes into battle. That's the end of the prologue. We go into several days later, Remington with the stone to Ironsmith. So that tells us that Remington got it from him. He had this guy located using magic, turns on him. So then we find out in the next issue, Majin actually barely escapes, and we have to kind of figure out, how do we sprinkle that in? Do we do another prologue, or do we, how do we make that work? Now, Majin knows how to find the emeralds because he has the magic spell and the magic compass that can help lead him to think, Jack Sparrow and his compass for the Black Pearl. He can use that compass to locate it if he casts the right spell. So it could be like,
this is gonna be extra fat issue.
Yeah, so
but
I think you can do it with 2 pages, but to make that play out well, 3 pages might.
I guess I can. I guess I could do it in 2 pages, because we don't necessarily. I love the Remington betrayal, because then it will add spice to it when he picks up the phone, because he picks up at the end of the series. He's captured in an EHD jet. And there's justice units watching him, but his case is right by a release switch, and the justice unit standing there, kind of in sleep mode. And all of a sudden, their eyes light up, and his hand raises up and hits the release button, and he drops, and his case is just dropped on the mountaintop. And then in the distance, you see another case blinking. He kicks his door off, walks up to the case, picks up the phone, and there's a text message saying, "Let's let bygones be bygones."
Okay. Remington's trying to settle it,
we still need each other.
Okay.
And then he crushes the phone.
So kind of a Remington knows, like, okay, I had you cornered in a cave. I sent in a dozen justice units, and they couldn't stop you. You still managed to. Okay. Let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I like it.
Consider me helping you escape. We're even. But we don't know how that relationship will go moving forward. But so that really plays onto the phone. That really adds fire, because like that was their connection. Like Remington helps him find magic totems and things like that. So that's great. We'll put those first 2 pages in there. Then we got we see Remington, we see Majin and Blackjack starts talking. Majin doesn't know Blackjack's powers are to teleport. She teleports out of the cage. Grabs the emerald from Majin. They grab at the same time, and then they morph and become one.
She merges with
Yeah.
Okay.
So now they become Vanish. So we got this page that reveals Vanish's face, like a faraway shot, a medium shot, a closer shot, and then this face, but we don't show the body. It's all heavy silhouetted. Then Hotshot's at Ace Blade is at EHD with Hotshot. They're explaining the situation. Iron Smith and them talking like, "Dang, I wish if we had even a shard or something, it would make this so much easier to track this emerald." Blah blah blah. Blah. Hotshot pulls Ace Blade to the side, saying like, "Hey, I think I know where I've seen one." And Ace Blade's like, "All right, cool, let's rally the troops." And Ace Blade, Hotshot's like, "No, let's me and you go." And Ace Blade goes, "Complicated?" And Hotshot's like, "No, stupid, come on." And so they take off and then enter. They land on Vigilance's balcony.
Okay.
And Hotshot goes up and hugs Vigilance, and she looks awkward, but then she gives into the hug. And Ace Blade's there, thinking to himself, complicated.
It's kind of shit looks complicated to me.
Yeah. She pulls out an emerald necklace, a shard, and that's the thing, like we said, she doesn't know where it came from, but it was with her when she crashed. She just has never done anything with it. But Hotshot remember feeling when they had that previous conversation in Visions 5 that he remembers feeling that like insane energy sense. And she's like, "Be careful, yada yada yada." They go off. They've got the emerald now. They're about to head back to base, and then a shadow appears over them as they're flying. And it's Majigan. Majigan smashes them smashes them to a building. Smoke and rubble. He appears up with them both in his hands by their heads, and then he starts to push them forward, and they start jumping dimensions. We see all these Easter eggs of other parts of the Gauntlet hunt and different versions of them as he's pushing them through this portal, and then they break free and land back in our time. Majigan's fighting them. Ace Blade and Hotshot's trying to fight him. He keeps vanishing, yada yada yada. Then Ace Blade is like, "Hey, they're combined. There's two of them." So I wonder, Blackjack's weakness is ice. So I wonder if that still will be their weakness. So Ace Blade Hotshot makes an opening. Ace Blade throws these shurikens, and they freeze Vanish's feet, which allows Hotshot to come in with the emerald and power up his blast and uppercut them and separates them. They get caught. They're arrested. Ironsmith and Khadijah come in, and they're like, "Damn, we wish you would have told us the plan, so we didn't end up here like at the end of a Bad Boys movie."
Right.
They joke and say, "Oh, am I Mike Larry? No, you're Mike Larry. No, I'm obviously Mike Larry." That kind of joke back and forth. And then we have, and Ironsmith's like, "Well, I got the emerald. I can work. I've already been working on the door to get you back to your world. I need a couple hours." And Ace Blade's like, "Great. That gives us just enough time." And before he can finish it, Hotshot has the jetpack to give to him. They fly to Vegas. They stop Terrell from becoming Ace Blade. And Hotshot's like, "You sure you want to do this, man?" He's like, "Yeah, man. He needs to have a life." He's like, "I could really use you in this world." He's like, "Nah, they got you, bud. You covered." They go back to the base. Blackjack and Ace Blade go through the door. They get teleported.
Because I would say, doesn't Ace Blade's wife die in the first story arc?
You know what? I don't remember.
Because I think she does. And that's, I mean, obviously, that's a question for Danny. If that's something that happens, that could be another like I get what you're saying that you could use you could use an Ace Blade here, and the world might be able to use an Ace Blade, but he gives them a point to. But trust me, he needs her.
Yeah.
And okay. Just a thought. Because I thought that she dies. I remember there's a part where he like leans her body against a tree and he's got to run because they were at the house and something happened. But there could be more, but also is like, not only is this going to potentially save his life, but more importantly, it'll save hers.
Mm-hmm. And see, and that could be cool too, because then that could be a doorway for us to have
a variant Ace Blade. Danny J. Quick, you see this look, it's about understanding the continuity. See, I'm dipping into your continuity to try to help.
Yeah. And then Hotshot flies back to Vigilance, gives her the emerald back, and he says, "You probably should turn this over to Hanzo because this thing is more than what we thought it was." Da 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 da. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna make it disappear in that moment or not, because the emeralds all have to get back to Emerald Quest.
All right. So I'm assuming there are emerald shards in different dimensions. There could be multiple in in a world, but they're in different dimensions.
Yeah, not very many, but there are some out there or whatnot. And so I haven't figured out like what's the thing that gets because they'll in Emerald Quest they will reform the emerald and there'll be like 2% of it not there. So I'm thinking that if there's enough of the emerald there, they can cast a spell that would find those trace pieces and bring them there.
So without the, and you might be able to bring the Majin character in for that later, because I think what you can do here is Majin can explain that he was amazed when he searched for the emerald for years, and there was legends of a powerful gemstone, only one known on Earth, and he was surprised when it led him, which we got to figure that piece out, because if Vigilance has one, he would see it. But we could talk about that to where like he was, one is just absolutely not obtainable, and alluding to the fact that Vigilance has it, and there's no way they're going to get it from Vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
But he was surprised when his whatever this compass thing is reads that there's another one on Earth. So the justification of why it could almost be like he cast a spell for them to merge, because if he realizes if you're from another dimension and you brought your gemstone or your stone, how many are there across the multiverse? And you don't have to call it multiverse, obviously that's very Marvel, but how many are there across the dimensions? So if he merges with her, then that could be the like, okay, I don't need Remington Stone. Mm-hmm. I'll go get the stone from wherever, I can gather all the other stones, which essentially is hinting at what he's trying to do now is ultimately what happens later in Emerald Quest.
Right.
And the way he approaches it could be a callback to this issue. I really would love to see, from a lettering perspective, once they merge, some way of overlapping two fonts together so that it's still legible, but you can tell that it's like two voices at one time in the dialogue.
Well, that's a very good point. We need to have a panel where they acknowledge that Blackjack and Majin, and like she's merged into some other type of creature. There's two entities there, so it's like an echo, and like Ace Blade can hear her voice in there, and Hotshot and Ace Blade's like, well, who's the other fucking guy? Hotshot's like, I don't know, I've never seen this dude before.
Right. Is there something that Blackjack? So it's complicated. So there's a personal connection. Is there something that she calls him that when they fight later, this new character refers to him as, and he's like, that's just kind of that indicator. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What? The only person that calls me that is Blackjack.
Okay, that's something we have to ask Danny about.
And it could be color scheme. Those types of indicators.
Vantage will have the same eye marking that Blackjack does.
Okay.
In the design. So, all right. So that was good. This. No, not that. All right. So, we're gonna get all those scripts up here. All right, here's the. All right, so I've been deep dive. I've been working on Zero Over Emergence all day yesterday. Manifest Crew. Let's see here. All right, so you know how much I love anime and I'm inspired by it. Mm-hmm. This is a 9-part story now.
Okay.
Charlie's still on board. Tony's on board. I believe Alyssa's still on board. She just hasn't responded yet. But these are all of Manifest's generals. And this dude, this one right here, this inside one is called Grub. Manifest came to his world, and Grub, he was trying to take it over. Their armies were attacking and stuff. Grub was sent out by the queen. He's a high evolutionary warrior and the bodyguard of the queen. and he was sent out because he was their greatest warrior to stop Manifest. He was fighting Manifest, and he called upon his like super move, which is time space. He can freeze you in space in your head and beat your ass. You can't break free of it. He wears you down, and it's like no time passes outside of y'all, but you are locked in this battle mentally. So like time goes on and on and on. Well, Manifest is the first character to break it, to speak in it, to move in it, and be able to take him down in it.
Okay.
So he couldn't stop Manifest, and Manifest eradicated their species because he doesn't want any more people like him with this ability to be developed, and he killed his queen.
Okay.
The queen and him were secretly in love. But because Manifest has defeated him and he can't, oh, wait, I'm sorry, he does not kill his people.
It kind of creates almost like his own mirror dimension type thing, and
Yeah.
like Doctor Strange, but okay.
Yeah. And so, I'm sorry, he does not kill their people, but he does kill the queen. And he works for Manifest to protect his people, to keep his people alive, but he can't beat Manifest. So he's broken in that regard. Everywhere Man, he actually is not brainwashed. He ends up believing in Manifest because Manifest tells him the truth. He tells him what the light and dark really is and why he's doing what he's doing and where he's coming from. Everywhere Man is a mix of uh, who are the character examples I use? But he's like Batman. So he's cold and calculating, but he's also frustrated with how things were going in Earth. That they were having all these battles and they weren't really winning. There was all this damage. Governments are cruel. Governments lie. There's people in poverty. So he just wasn't satisfied. He had reached his breaking point. And by transporting everybody there accidentally, he falls in front of Manifest. Manifest sees the power within him and he sees that he can talk to him. So he speaks to him and everyone's like, I'm on board. Let's go save the Earth. So he becomes Manifest's right-hand man. This is Doll. Doll is a water type. He has water powers. So he can create water tendrils, but he is also the darkness of his world.
Okay.
And so he also believes in what Manifest is doing. But he's like Agent Smith, he's like Dolores Umbridge and Beatrix Lestrange. So he is super engrossed in what Manifest is doing.
And what is Manifest's overall mission?
Manifest's overall mission is to balance the light and dark.
Okay.
From his planet, he was a slave and a warrior in their rings, in their battle arenas, and he believed in it. The light and dark is very well known on his planet. It is their religion, it's their culture. And he served it. He had no problems following orders. He had no problems being a slave because he believed in everything that they upheld with the light and dark. But he ends up finding out that the kings and queens of his world are lying about it, and they're using the light and dark to manipulate everyone and to have riches and power. So he slaughters them with his powers. And he goes into their archives, and he does a deep dive of research, and he discovers there are a light and dark entity that powers the world's powers and abilities. But he even goes even further because like this is a part of their whole planet, their culture, and he discovers a way to absorb those energies and take them down. So that's what he does. He takes the light and dark, and he becomes the new light and dark, and he preaches. He's like our Magneto. He's like our Kuvira from Korra: The Last Airbender, or the Legend of Korra. Sorry. And so he resets the world. He knows there has to be light and dark, but he does in what he feels is the purest way. But he doesn't realize because he absorbed both these entities, and by manslaughtering the royal people, that he has now corrupted himself, and he is a darkness. But he's going on this campaign, and he wants to fix everything. And because of all this deep research, he also knows that there is an entity that is over the light and darks. Mm-hmm. He knows there is someone that has mustered all this together.
Overall, they're still just pawns, and
And so he doesn't like that they're doing this because it's all a scam. It's all a ruse. It's nothing what he thought it was. And so he is secretly, the real goal is to build the army to fix the galaxy to be able to take this entity down. But he gets a hold of Manifest and sees there is a world full of people with light and dark powers, and they're some of the most powerful ones that he's ever felt by everyone telling him about it, and it opened up his mind to it. So he's like, well, Earth will catapult my army to unknown heights. We need to go save them and recruit them and all that stuff. So Dahl is he's
would it be that the fact of vigilance being on Earth and or them detecting another light and dark entity, like this planet has more than one?
Yes.
That's gonna, we need to go there now.
So Justice's energy still being there, Void's energy being there,
which I think
Vigilance's energy being there.
We've never really explained why Vigilance has the light and dark inside of her, but I think it could almost go back to the very basic binary approach of these light and dark entities that are selecting these heralds. What happens on a world when everyone dies except one person? So in that last fraction of a second when she destroyed her home planet and the Herald of the Light died, she was the only surviving person on the planet or at that area, so the light went into her at the same time.
So me and you are we're almost on the same page with that because I've been thinking about that.
Okay.
But obviously this is stuff that we're going to reveal in Vigilance's book. And so this is the stuff that by the time emergence happens, that is already revealed. So Dahl is he's nasty work.
Okay.
Nasty work. He can bring in the pressure, the coldness, and the gravity of water, obviously because of how heavy it is, how much we have, whatever. Like you're down leagues and leagues below. He can bring you to that realm with his powers and whatnot. And Por, I think it's Phor, Phor. I don't know if it's going to be Por or Phor, but she is a insane fighter, and her abilities are emotion based. So when she fights you and punches you, you feel childhood trauma that you had before. Any trauma that you've had in your life that has hurt you,
okay,
she can bring it up with her punches. And the more and more she hits you, the more and more severe it is, the more and more it's closer to you, the more and more you feel it. All right, so right now I have it lined up for Por to fight Titan.
Okay.
Dahl to fight Void. Vigilance to fight Everywhere Man. And Hotshot to fight Times. Or Grub. And Hotshot's going to fight him because Hotshot's going to be the only other person to break his hold. And it's going to piss him off and it's going to push him. And the theme of Hotshot getting back up, that Rocky theme every time, he's like, the world is on the wire, I got to get back up. And he's going to see that in him. He senses the same energy that Manifest has to a degree. And he's like, well, maybe this is the person that can stop Manifest. So he keeps pushing the fight in this timeless era to train Hotshot, to fight, to be able to fight more, to fight Manifest more. He's basically teaching him how to, like Hotshot's own version of boxing, because that's what Coach is teaching him, how to box. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's Blood Dogs. The way they fight in that show is crazy, and it's all boxing. It's like dodging, weaving, and looking for open shots. So that's going to be the technique that Hotshot's going to develop while fighting with this dude. Everywhere Man is the number 2 hero of all time of Earth, and he's super strong and crazy. So he's going to fight Vigilance. He's going to be the last thing standing in Vigilance's way to get to Manifest. Dahl is fighting Void. So when the BT-1 gets exploded and destroyed by Manifest, in Void number 1, we backflash that and we go inside it and we see that Manifest's guards came to destroy Void, but he killed them. And he escapes and lands back on Earth, and Dahl is in pursuit of him. And he's disgusted with Void because Void has not done his job, his due diligence, and we've offered him away and he's refusing. Because Void is disgusted with them because they're corrupted. They're not doing. Void knows you cannot get rid of the light.
Right.
But he understands that. But he knows his job is to get rid of the light. Because there can't be any light without dark and vice versa. But he still does his job. Like, it's never going to be extinguished. But he's here to keep pushing forward.
Right.
And that's his. And in a way, Void understands it better than Manifest does. So Void is going to want to take him down, which creates our uneasy alliance for Hotshot and Void to be together, especially after Void just used the darkness to corrupt Carla.
Right.
So this is our classic Wolverine and Sabretooth teaming up situation, but they've got to join forces. Poor is going to push Titan to get more confidence in herself in their battle. Um, Void is going to show us that he's still the Void, and he is going to be our badass. He's not an anti-hero. Well, I guess you could say in lines in this issue he would be an anti-hero. But Manifest and Hotshot, when they get to battle, um, they're going to fight, and Manifest is going to be pushing Hotshot because he wants to teach him a lesson that he sees himself in Hotshot. And even though Hotshot has all the training from him and he's learning powers, Ripple, I've got all the stuff written down, but Ripple is fighting his father with Vigilance and Queen Mala. And Ripple is going to be yelling his dad, like, this isn't who you are. This isn't what I've been looking for. You betrayed us. Like, you betrayed me. And Ripple's words, while Vigilance is pounding on him, they're trying to get to him, is going to affect him. But he gets overwhelmed by the combination of Ripple and Vigilance. And so we'll have two rising hero moments. Hotshot is going to be battered and alone. And that's when the cavalry comes in. And there's going to be a full-on combo on Manifest. But Manifest is still standing and lasting. And then Everywhere Man is going to see this and see bits of Hotshot and be like, justice. And he's going to use the last bit of his energy to open up a portal to the sun. And it's going to overcharge Hotshot for one final blast or punch that eradicates Manifest. So that's pretty much something.
So Void understands that like he is a pawn himself. That they're all pawns in this overall game of light and dark. He understands that there at the end of the day there can be no light without darkness and no darkness without light. Like the balance already exists.
Yes.
That the mission, really the mission is to end that battle is really to end all life essentially because it can't exist. And even as part of that pawn, he knows that there's he has to protect whoever this creator is, or the overall being pulling the strings. He has to protect them.
Yeah.
So it's not even a matter like he's trying to help. Like Hotshot's fighting because he wants to save the world, and he's a hero. Void's doing it because they're trying to disrupt
his way of
life.
And
in a way, protecting the not even really free will, but just he has to protect and try to stop him from his mission.
Yeah. Right now I have it set up to where Void's plan of operations, I have the heroes and villains broken up into teams. Obviously, Spider Squirrel is here, 5 Stars here, Alyssa's character's here. They're all going to get into big battles because, like, the villains and heroes who are coming back, they've got to deal with that. So I've got it set up to where Hotshot Titan, Vigilance, Queen Mala, 5 Star, and Spider Squirrel kind of like draw out Manifest and his generals, while the other heroes lead a charge on his base to like destroy it. Because they're like, they have the communications and the world locked down. I mean, all that's still being worked out. This is super far out, but it needs to be worked on. It needs to be worked out and worked on now.
So something I thought of we could include for the story with Ace Blade for Vigilance. I think that we can include a note in there for the crystal was on her when she arrived. She had it in her possession when she arrived.
Mm-hmm.
It almost kind of Justice gave it to her on her, what he would call her birthday, which was the anniversary that she arrived on Earth. He actually gave it to her at one point. He was like, she didn't know that it was on her, and he gave it to her, and he just, I believe it was something important, and it,
And it is.
Yeah, it's only right that he would have it.
Mm-hmm. So I stressed this thing out I was trying to do it in 8 parts, but I don't think that's going to happen. But Manifest meets the shooter in the UN. Ripple sees his father on TV. He goes and confronts Hotshot to get him to help him. The government doesn't agree to what Manifest wants, the governments of the world. And so the second part takes place in Heroes International. Everyone gets their ass kicked. The world is completely devastated. and Manifest has swarmed over the Earth. Void. Then it goes to Void 3. We show Void escaping. We show Queen Mala on her way, and we show how the heroes are struggling. Then it goes into Spider Squirrel, where we pick up where Spider Squirrel and Trash Panda are eating pizza, but they're interrupted by one of the big bads from back in the day. And they link up with Alyssa and a couple other heroes, and like they're surrounded and they have to fight. Uh, Hotshot is traveling with Ripple to try to help people and then gather heroes as well. Five Star is on his own defending his community when backup arrives, and we get a nice team up with Hotshot and Five Star fighting off some people. Um, then it goes into Cipher. They've gathered all that they can. Now they're making a plan, trying to figure out how can they bring down Manifest. But it's too late. They've been discovered. The generals break in. A decoy team goes off to go face. A team goes to face Manifest, and a decoy team stays behind to delay the generals. This generals and the decoys are still fighting. Then we get to where we get to the main finale, and then it ends. Again, these are just super loose. All the deets need to be added into it. Right now, I've got the teams for each book except for Charlie's book and Alyssa's book. I have some of those not filled in. Uh, this is a pretty big project.
Yeah.
I would, if there is a way that this can be done, so it can be one big Kickstarter, that would be incredible.
Get the whole thing funded.
Yeah, get the whole thing funded. But so right now, let me see here. So this spreadsheet has everything we need, that the core parts for Emergence. So that's like our map. But Hotshot the Gauntlet is where we have been trying to be for a very long time. And if we get funded the right way, then we will finally be ahead. Because we do Hotshot 13. That book is already paid for. We've never put it on Kickstarter. I set the goal at $500. So I'm hoping we can make $2,500 on that. That's all profit.
Right.
So that goes into immediately paying for Hotshot 14. Then we do the Kickstarter for Hotshot 14. Well, if things go right, we've either already paid for Hotshot 14 or we're using this Kickstarter to finish off paying Hotshot 14.
Right.
Then we go into Hotshot 15, and the hope is that the boost with Danny J. Quick, the TikTok audience, our audience, and everyone seeing this being a legit crossover, that we get a good amount of money on that, and then we pour that into, me and Danny aren't paying ourselves.
Right.
To write, so those are going to be like the cheapest books that we make or whatnot. Get that paid for, and then whatever's left, move that forward to 16, and keep that train going to where we're at least coming out with a book of Hotshot in this franchise, at least just Hotshot every quarter.
Right.
I would like to do more than that, but so the first Kickstarter for 13 is 500, Hotshot 14 is 1,000, and then Ace Blade and Hotshot, we have it at 4 right now. But we're hoping, because it's our characters come together, we get over 10,000. Then we can split that with Fourth Wall and us. And then I would have Dan Barlow do 16. So he is going to work on 16. Like this, during all this time, he's working on 16. So 16
right.
Gets in there. We put that on Kickstarter. Then Brian Wolf has already been paid. And I'm pretty sure I can ask him to say, all right, can you do the next issue of Hotshot? He's super fast. And he is willing to wait till the Kickstarter happens.
So I think here's my thought. Let's set a date and time it out to, so all but 2 pages of 14 are inked. We need 2 pages inked.
Yeah, I'm going to ink those.
Okay. We need colors on those, and obviously the letters. So I think if we go the approach of let's set a date for when we will have 14 finished and we can look to send 14 to the printer.
Mm-hmm.
So what we can do is when we drop 13, that's the $500 Kickstarter. I know we haven't done this, but we can almost make it so simple where there's literally only one item, and it's the physical copy of issue 13. That's it. That's all there is. A $10 reward for issue 13. That's it. The thought process is of keeping it simple, and there's only one thing to sell a book. So what, $350 to print a book roughly.
Yeah.
We can charge $4 to $5 for shipping. We're gonna make $5 to $650 on profit for each book sold. The goal here is to get as many people to back that. The overall amount of money it'd be great to make a lot of money with, but getting a lot of backers on that is critical, because if we time it right, if we have issue 14 where we're like, all right, we're done with issue 14, we got all these backers that came in from issue 13. The day we get ready to start shipping, we launch the 14, or as soon as we ship it, we launch 14 with the intent of, hey, you backed us if we get 100 backers for issue 13, we hit those backers immediately. Your book is shipping, issue 14's on. We're now fundraising for issue 14. We may be able, because the thought process, who knows, maybe it does really well, and let's say we make it really, really affordable to back that issue to get 13. We treat it almost as like a jump on point. We get a bunch of backers to come in on that issue. We can time it so that the digital copy goes out maybe a week before the shipping hits and a week before the 14 Kickstarter launches. But if we get a bunch of people, a bunch of new backers, and a lot of names on that, we're turning right around and shipping we're shipping that Kickstarter just as we're launching. It's what they did with Lori and Eric were doing at Unlikely, and it was helping them. As soon as those emails were going out about rewards, the books were shipping, they were also sending the email about we're launching a new book on Kickstarter to kind of get the faith of those supporters, like, oh, you guys are delivering on this immediately.
Yeah,
this is coming out ASAP. My book is shipping now for issue 13, and now 14's up for me to back. If they have the digital, if they want to, they can read it, and they know that they want to read the next issue. It's just one of those, like, it's like when DC and them did those crazy, like, 10-cent comic things where they try to just get a bunch of people to buy it, and then if we get, for them, it was probably like, hey, if we can get 10% of those guys to come back and pick up the next issue at $5, we've got we may have just hooked a bunch of new readers. So we could look at trying to do that with issue 13 to say, hey, we're going to sacrifice higher tiers to try to get more people to back it and buy it. That way, when the next Kickstarters launch, as long as we're hitting it timely, people are going to be coming right back and backing us immediately. That's my only thought, is like, if we can get a bunch of people to back it, that's the goal with 13. Let's get a bunch of backers, sell a ton of those books, and try to get those guys to come back immediately for 14. And then they'll want to jump on, hopefully with 15 being with Ace Blade, maybe we can keep that trend going.
All right, so I'm cool with all that, but I would say that our main goal is to get Brian paid in that first Kickstarter, and so we don't have to worry about him, because the sooner we get Brian paid, then we can get him on another issue that he can bang out. He's super damn quick.
And what do we owe him for 14?
It is $60 a page for what he did, but I think he only did what's 8 minus 22?
Yeah, he did like 14.
Yeah, he did 14 or 16 pages.
Okay.
So, and I'm cool. I agree. Let's get as many backers on here as possible, and let's have that one Kickstarter of the book. But I think we need at least 2 other pledges on there to help support the money.
Right.
So, and nothing ridiculous like one of our T-shirts or the pajama set that's already on there.
Right. So then we have a good markup, and it's just going to be, once the Kickstarter ends,
it's not something that
fulfill it. Yeah.
It'll be fulfilled by the website, and just all the back issues. So I think we need to
definitely add-ons. I think that should be something where they have the ability to add all previous issues and trades, all of that. If it either a tier or part of the add-ons.
Yeah. Okay. So it just like the
we know the trades there's a lot that can come in from the trades.
And so I'm just thinking, I just want to put the trades on there.
Okay.
And just like add-ons for the trades, and maybe there is a pledge level where you get all the trades and you get the book. they get the 13th issue. One merch one with maybe with one of the shirts we have, and that's it.
Yeah, because you could do. So it could be like a issue 13 with volume 1, 2, and 3. There could be one tier for that. There could be one that has, I guess, issue 13 in volume 1. You can do an issue 13 in volume 2. Or those you don't have to do this because those they can do that themselves through the add-ons.
Yeah, so let's just leave it to the add-on for them because if somebody wants to jump on this campaign, like, damn, they got 13 issues, but I don't have the first issue.
But
so
we could do that. What we had talked before about, like, if they get we can promote it as, look, if you get the tier that has 13 in volumes 1, 2, and 3. That's a value of this much.
Yeah.
That you can only get this low right now through this Kickstarter.
All right. So I'll make the tiers. You come up with the prices for them.
Okay. So I forget what we tried that one with issue 13 when we first did that initial like almost pre-release of issue 13. We tried that lower price, and we know we were still getting a certain amount.
I sold one of them that night on direct releases. Yeah. So, and that's the thing.
I gotta run to the team.
Oh, okay.
He's done at 10. So I'll take the 10 to get over there. Yeah, I think that would be